Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, Health Secretary Francisco Duque says Metro Manila is ready to de-escalate to alert level 2 should the government decide on a less restrictive level by February. The country confirms it has detected cases of the Omicron subvariant, also known as stealth Omicron. Acting presidential spokesperson and interagency task force co-chair Karlo Nograles joins us live. And later, what lies ahead for Philippine-Australia relations as we mark Australia Day today. Australian ambassador to the Philippines, Stephen Robinson, also joins us later on in the program. The interagency task force is set to meet and discuss the possible de-escalation of Metro Manila to a less strict alert level 2. This comes as COVID-19 cases in the region are seen to take a downward trend. Health Secretary Francisco Duque said NCR is ready for a lower alert status given the good vaccination coverage in the region. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have acting presidential spokesperson and interagency task force co-chair Karlo Nograles. Secretary Nograles, welcome to The Source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Pinky, and good morning to everyone who's watching.
So the DOH already confirmed that the cases in Metro Manila continue to go down. Let's look back at January 15, where Metro Manila recorded about 18,000 cases to January 23 a couple of days ago at 5,400 cases. Again, let me stress that this is in Metro Manila. Is the IATF, and how soon can a decision be made to possibly de-escalate Metro Manila from alert level 3 to alert level 2?
Yeah, mag-uusap kami tomorrow. We have an IATF meeting tomorrow. And that would be one of the topics that we will be discussing. We'll look at what the numbers look like in terms of the bed utilization rate, the average daily attack rate, and the 2-week growth rate. So if you look at the trend sa Metro Manila, we're seeing a decrease in the number of cases. So yung 2-week growth rate mo, makikita natin dyan, it's probably gonna be very it will be lower, a lower growth rate, or maybe even a negative growth rate. So what we'll have to look at now is the average daily attack rate, meaning to say the average number of daily cases per 100,000 population. So using those two metrics, malalaman mo if we are at critical or high or moderate level. And then right now, the hospital bed utilization rate naman is at moderate. So using these three parameters or metrics, we will be able to determine if magde-de-escalate ba ang NCR to alert level 2. But again, we want to do it in a way na it's closest to February 1. Right? So what will happen is tomorrow we'll look at the numbers so far, but perhaps we'll have to make a decision as far as Metro Manila is concerned over the weekend, because the weekend would be closer to February 1. And what we want to do is to make a decision on alert levels as closest to February 1 as possible. So, yung anong i-announce namin, that will be for February 1
Feb 1.
to Feb 1 to 15.
Basically, Sec Karlo, there's a meeting tomorrow with the IATF, and you're hoping that by Saturday or Sunday, which is 29th and the 30th, a decision is going to be made regarding a possible de-escalation to alert level 2, so that by February 1, Tuesday, sakaling ibaba, alam na po ng tao, a couple of days, well, maybe two days before February 1.
That's right. So maybe we'll probably announce on over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday.
But how are things looking so far? I mean, you know the ADAR, we also know the hospital care capacity in Metro Manila. Does it seem like in all likelihood, we will de-escalate?
de-escalate? I really don't know. Again, based on the three metrics now that what we're seeing, we did not breach the 70% ng hospital bed utilization in Metro Manila. So that's the good news, no? So it seems that our health system capacity was adequate enough to withstand this bout with Omicron. And that's because of the high vaccination rate. So dito natin makikita the value of high vaccination. So in NCR, na almost perfect score. In fact, if you look at the absolute numbers, over 100% na tayo sa target. So that means really almost 100% of residents in NCR are fully vaccinated. Ang naging epekto niyan is despite the number of cases in NCR, we did not breach the 70% ng bed utilization rate natin sa NCR. So that's the effect of high rate of vaccination. So that's the good news, no? But of course, with Omicron being more transmissible, yung 2-week growth rate natin, pati average daily attack rate natin, tumaas. No? So that's what you call the decoupling effect. Tumaas ang kaso mo, pero ang severe and critical cases mo did not rise as fast. In fact, nag-decouple siya, meaning to say, yung iba yung linya niya, iba yung trajectory niya doon sa growth of cases.
Well, alam naman po natin, very important is the hospital capacity, no, which isn't bad right now. Last I looked, I think it's at 50% yung pong ICU capacity. So that's not a bad thing at all. Okay, so hopefully by the weekend, a decision will be made. But just very quickly, I want to go to the other areas. What are the moves? Because even when we look at the numbers, makikita na marami na pong areas of concern outside Metro Manila. Para bang gumagapang na po siya sa ibang mga regions. I just want to know, what are the moves? Are there moves to address anything new, the cases in other regions para po hindi, I guess, lumala?
Well, first of all, we have to have a very close coordination with the regions, no? So meron tayong mga regional IATFs, and we are constantly monitoring the numbers there per region, and we have close coordination with the LGUs as well, no? The governors, the mayors. So there are areas that we're really monitoring apart from NCR, and that would be Calabarzon region, that's Region 4A. We're also looking closely at Region 3, obviously. So that makes up NCR plus, basically. Then we're looking at Region 1 and the Cordillera or CAR region, and Region 1. Then we're looking also at Baguio City, Cebu Province, Lapu-Lapu City, Mandaue City, Iloilo Province, Iloilo City, Bacolod City, Cagayan de Oro City, Davao City, and General Santos City, as well as Regions 8, Ormoc City, Region 5, Naga City, Dagupan City, Western Samar, Tacloban City, Biliran, and Zamboanga del Sur. So what we're seeing now is while cases in NCR or Metro Manila, and in fact some areas in Region 4A and Region 3 are slowing down in terms of the growth of COVID-19, the growth rate. I mean, we're seeing higher growth rates naman in those areas that I just mentioned.
Yeah, but you said that in terms of IATF regional representation as well. Ano ho ang plano para po, dahil alam na nga po natin doon na po papunte. It's spreading to the other regions. Is there anything new? Are there what measures are being implemented to be able to help the other regions?
Yeah, they have to increase their bed capacities. That's number one, no? So ito yung sinasabi namin na yung may authorized bed capacities kasi mga hospitals dyan sa bawat lugar, no? And what we want to do is increase the dedicated COVID beds, no? Increase the number of dedicated COVID beds in those areas para hindi mag-breach ng 70% and up ang bed utilization sa COVID. Okay. So you have to increase the number of beds. You have to make sure that your isolation facilities are makakatanggap ng mga moderate, mild cases, we're also beefing up yung telemedicine, teleconsult para to prepare yung home isolation. Like what happened here in NCR na we reserve the beds, the hospital beds for severe and critical and moderate cases, while mild and asymptomatic can do home isolation or sa isolation facilities nila. Then of course, granular lockdowns, yung na kinakailangan, yun ang importance ng regional IATF, no? Because it's a coordination between the regional IATF and the local government units in terms of the implementation of granular lockdowns. And then of course, yung triage, yung referral system, na kailangan maganda yung referral system kung home isolation ba, kung isolation facility ka ba, or dun ka sa hospital beds. And then the availability also of antiviral drugs, no, being made to those areas as well, and just really monitoring the number of cases. So now we have antigen testing, we have RT-PCR testing, and then now we're trying to increase the number of self-administered home testing kits as well. We have 2 that have been recently approved by FDA.
Opo, 2 so far ang inapprove ng FDA, I think yesterday or the other day. One is Abbott and I forget the brand of the other one. Just to follow up on this, what is government planning to do regarding reports that there is vaccine or there is hesitancy in Muslim communities to actually get vaccinated? Apparently, from what I'm reading and what I've heard on radio, there are really religious and cultural beliefs that prevent them from being vaccinated. And apparently, if I'm not mistaken, only about 25% of the population in BARM have been vaccinated. Vaccination is key. Government has been saying that over and over again. What is the plan regarding them?
That's the reason why in the latest Talk to the People ni Pangulo, sinabi niya talaga na importante yung the influence of our local leaders, especially in the BARM area. No, they'll have to really set an example to their constituents. They really have to drive the demand and really push for more and increased vaccination in the BARM area. And that really takes the convincing power ng ating mga local leaders sa BARM, sa mga BARM officials natin. And I guess to really send the message that this is, apart from it being halal certified and it being used in predominantly Muslim countries as well, where we're not having any problems naman that we see in terms of vaccinating in, countries like our neighbors in Indonesia and Malaysia, and even in Singapore and other predominantly Muslim countries, then we see no reason why it could not happen in the BARM area. But it really takes a lot of push and drive from the local leaders there.
No vax, no ride policy. Should government rethink their policy on this? We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, acting presidential spokesperson Karlo Nograles. So, still controversial, sir. No, the no ride, no vax policy. Various groups are questioning this, saying wala pong legal basis. Even the IBP had a statement regarding this, saying that this is really discriminatory and has no legal basis. During the IATF meeting tomorrow, do you think that this will be discussed? Should government reconsider it?
Well, first of all, what the Department of Transportation is implementing are the ordinances passed by the NCR cities. No? So may mga ordinansa po na ipinasa ang bawat local government unit under the National Capital Region. At ito po yung pinapatupad ng Department of Transportation. So yung legal basis niya is the ordinance. Are the ordinances themselves, no? And even Secretary Guevara already stated, no, that and I quote, the state has the power to regulate the movement of the unvaccinated persons in the interest of public health and public safety for the benefit not only of the vaccinated but also of the unvaccinated. So primarily, this is hinged on protecting the unvaccinated. Kasi makita mo, 85% ng mga nasa ospital are unvaccinated at more than 90% of those severe and critical also, no, unvaccinated mga yan. So it's really for the protection of the unvaccinated. And again, the DOTR is implementing the ordinances passed by the LGU. So kami sa IATF, we don't have what you call this, we don't pass laws, no. It is the LGUs that pass their own respective ordinances, which is now being implemented by the Department of Transportation.
Pag-uusapan pa ho ba to, Sec. Karlo, sakaling we de-escalate to alert level 2? Or hindi ho ba mawawala na si no ride, no vax policy if we're under alert level 2?
So you have to go back to the ordinance, no? And I believe the ordinances really state that these the no vax, no ride, or the limitations or restrictions based on the ordinance is only for alert level 3 and higher. So I mean to say, pag nag-de-escalate ka, then obviously the ordinance will no longer be
will cease.
You can no longer implement it kasi hindi na siya alert level 3 and up.
I'm just bringing that up because of the possibility that we may de-escalate to alert level 2 and all this talk, even lawmakers refusing or against, rather criticizing this no vax, no ride policy, because truly in the beginning it caused a lot of confusion. So I just wanted to make that clear. In case mag-alert level 2 po tayo, wala na po tayong pag-uusapan na no vax, no ride policy. I spoke to DOH Undersecretary Vergara and I asked her about the PCR and antigen tests as well, whether government has a plan to further decrease the prices of the PCR and antigen tests. Is this something that will be discussed tomorrow as well dahil medyo mahal pa rin po talaga, Sec. Karlo?
Yeah, dalawang rounds na to, dalawang IATF meetings na kami previously, no, when we set the cap on testing. So the latest testing cap that was passed by the IATF was based on a second round of discussions. So if there would be whether or not there would be a third round, it's really something that we are open to. Especially we hope now with more testing options being made, no, right now meron ng self-administered testing kits, no, and with improved technologies perhaps, then maybe we might hopefully see a decrease in the number in the cost of testing kits, no, kasi pag marami ng options ang tao, mag-adjust yung prices, no, ng commodities. So now you have RT-PCR, you have antigen administered by healthcare workers, and the third type is itong self-administered home test kits.
Apo. But would you be able to tell us, for example, with PCR still the gold standard, no? Magkano ho kaya ang posibleng ibaba nito?
I'm not part of the group that makes the assessment, no.
Okay.
So there's a group that makes the assessment, and they're the ones involved in the round of talks made in order for them to determine the price caps. So it'll have to go through that process before it is sent to the IATF for our approval.
Also, before we end the interview, I just wanted to raise that, the statements made by the president during his talk to the people, no, which I was discussing with you before we went on air. He said that in due time, he will name these presidential aspirants who are corrupt, yung hindi daw kaya talagang hindi daw pwede maging presidente. Did he give you guys any information on who he was referring to?
Personally, not yet. He has not told us personally or or named them, no? So siguro abangan na lang natin kung sa next talk to the people baka doon na magsasalita na siya about the
Sino-sino
details
po
or
sila?
the information that he has that he wants to share with the people.
Okay, just a last question. I hope you don't mind, sir. Wanted to get confirmation from you being, of course, still the spokesperson of the president. Meron mong inquiry report na lumabas that the Advanced Media Corporation of the Villiers, which was given a franchise extension of 25 years back in 2019, was given a test broadcast permit by the NTC rather to use the ABS-CBN frequencies. Would you be able to confirm this, sir?
I think the NTC has already issued a statement, no? And I believe the summary of that statement is that it was hold on, I have it here. It granted the Advanced Media Broadcasting System provisional authority on Channel 16 digital TV for Mega and Metro Manila, and Advanced Media Broadcasting System was the first applicant for this digital TV, and this is just a temporary assignment for simulcast purposes until analog shuts off in 2023. Channel 2 is the paired analog of Channel 16. But there was in that statement, and I think I'm seeing it in some Viber groups and even in some media channels about the DOJ and the OES. No, we'd like to tell the public that when NTC went to the DOJ, it was purely asking a legal question. There was no mention of any names of anyone or any private company or any entity. It was a pure legal question for asking for a legal opinion from the Department of Justice regarding authority to allocate unused and available frequencies and the power to issue provisional authorities. So when DOJ gave its legal opinion, it was just purely answering a legal question. There was no mention of any names or whatsoever. In the same manner, when the Office of the President or the OES, in fact, was when the NTC went to the OES, it was only to seek guidance on the authority to assign available and unused frequencies. Again, there was no mention of any name or any entity whatsoever. So these were just purely questions, and it's really up to the NTC based on their rules and regulations and based on existing laws.
Okay. Acting Presidential Spokesperson Karlo Nograles. Sir, thank you so much for your time and take care.
Maraming salamat. Ingat po lahat. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir. We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.